Hi guys, how are you? It's Dr. Jen. I am actually going live from the office tonight. I've just finished seeing patients, and I thought I would come live very quickly and talk about Colin Powell. You guys have heard the news. It is all over the news. It's something we woke up to this morning. Very sad news that Colin Powell has died at the age of 84 from complications of COVID-19. Guys, this is really important. It's important for every single person that we lose from COVID-19. Colin Powell, however, it's remarkable how many people he's touched, how many people I've talked to that literally are devastated by hearing of the loss of Colin Powell, myself included. I mean, I woke up this morning and I literally scrolled through my feed. That's one of the first things I saw. And I was like, oh my gosh, it just kind of hit like a ton of bricks. And it's again, as I've said this, every person that we lose, every person that becomes sick with this dreadful disease is just as important as the next. But I know that so many of us have been impacted by Colin Powell in a major way. Colin Powell, I have my notes here. He's a four-star general. He's the first Black Secretary of State, also chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He is so many things and was so many things. Again, not only for politics, but for people. And he died at the age of 84 years old. According to reports, as I'm sure you all have seen, his family reports that he was vaccinated against COVID. 19, but yet died from complications from COVID. Reports that I have seen from the Associated Press and others say the ones I have read have indicated that they weren't sure if he received a booster or not. We do know that he did have multiple myeloma, which is a type of cancer, type of malignancy. And when we talk about COVID-19, as we've talked about this, as I talk about it almost every day, and I know you guys are with me every day listening, and God bless you for that. We know some of the risk factors that make people and make us more vulnerable to the effects of COVID-19, right? That is being of older age. We know that Mr. Powell was 84 years old. We also know that underlying medical conditions, right? He had multiple myeloma, which is a type of malignancy, cancer. But there are many underlying medical conditions that can put us at risk for complications from COVID, right? So the videos that I've done on the conditions that make us high risk from COVID, that's the type of thing that I'm talking about. And there may certainly be other aspects of his life, of his health, of his his situation that may make him high risk as well. But those are at least two things that we know make him high risk. One would also note that, being a man of color, we know that people of color have been and continue to be disproportionately affected by COVID and the effects of COVID. One of the things, I've been in the office all day. That's why I'm doing my live from here, because I'm still here. But, one of the things I've seen as I've sort of scrolled through the news headlines throughout the day to see what was talking about was this concept of breakthrough infections. And, does, Mr. Powell's death from COVID complications, does it in any way, or could it in any way imply that COVID vaccinations are not useful, that they're not worth it, that they don't matter, that they're not going to make a difference? And certainly we could argue that, or one could ask that about anyone who's gotten the COVID vaccine, but then still developed COVID and complications from it, okay? And I think that's a really important thing to talk about. I reposted a video earlier about why we should still get the COVID vaccine, even though it may be possible to still get COVID. And first of all, it's important for me to remind us all that we should not be alarmed by the fact that one can get COVID even after getting vaccinated. Don't let that scare you or make you say, aha, see, this doesn't matter. It doesn't work anyway. I say that because nothing in life, and certainly in health, is 100%. Neither are vaccines. How many times have you known someone to get the flu shot and still get the flu? It happened to me one year. It's possible to get vaccines for other diseases and still get those diseases. Why? Because we don't have a vaccine that's 100%. We don't have a lot in this world that's 100%. So it is possible that even though we get the COVID vaccine, we could still get COVID, although the risk and the likelihood of us getting COVID is much less if we've been vaccinated. The other thing that is the other thing that is huge and equally, if not maybe even more important, is the fact that if you get the COVID vaccine and do get COVID, your chance of being hospitalized and dying from COVID is much, much less than it would be if you did not get the COVID vaccine. As far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of things we don't know about Mr. Powell's sort of course with COVID and what's been going on and what's been happening. There may be reports out there that I'm not familiar with, that I have not read, but there's a lot that I don't know, so I certainly can't speak to that. But what I do know is that the COVID vaccine dramatically lowers our risk of getting COVID. And if we should get COVID, it dramatically reduces our risk of either dying from COVID or getting so ill from COVID that we have to be hospitalized. That's why we should still get the COVID vaccine, even though it is theoretically possible to get COVID. It's not likely, but it's possible. And remember that those who are vaccinated do far better than those who are not. Okay. The risk of dying from COVID if you are unvaccinated is exponentially higher than the risk of dying from COVID if you are vaccinated. So I say all of this to say, and I'm only saying this because, like, as I was on Twitter and looking at different feeds, I was seeing, some rumblings about, was he vaccinated? Was he not? This and that. And yes, it's always something that we want to know, right? We want to know for the safety of people. We want to understand these things. But it's important for us to know that the fact that he was vaccinated does not in any way take away from the importance of these vaccinations or what, in fact, they do and how they protect us. The fact that he had a number of risk factors, his age, his underlying malignancy, and perhaps any other medical conditions he might have had that we don't know about, is exactly the reason why him being vaccinated is so, so, so important. And it's also another reason why we have to protect one another. We have to look after one another. One of the ways that we look after other people is by us getting vaccinated so that they're kept safer, okay? We know that there are a number of people in our population that either can't get vaccinated because they have certain allergies or they have certain medical conditions that their doctor says you cannot get vaccinated, or they've got something going on that, again, they can't get vaccinated. We've got also people in our community and in our presence, people that we love and know, that have weakened immune systems that are more vulnerable to infection if they were to get sick, that could get sicker than others. Cancer patients, patients with weakened immune systems for different reasons, young children, older folks, people with organ transplants, and a list of medical conditions that really goes on and on and on. And what getting vaccinated does is, the more of us who get vaccinated, the more we help out those who may not be as protected by vaccination or in general because of what they have going on with their body. Think about vaccination as almost like, it's like giving your neighbor and your friend a hug. I'm sorry, I keep messing with this hair. You guys might say something about it, and I'm really sorry. It's just been a long night. My hair has been literally in a ponytail all day, so I'll do that. But my point being is that when we get vaccinated, it's our way of saying, not just I want to be safe for myself and my family, my loved ones. It's also saying I'm going to do my best to keep COVID away from other people. Because the safer we stay, the safer other people will stay. The fewer people out in the environment who have COVID because they're getting vaccinated helps keep people who are vulnerable to infection, people who are older, people with underlying malignancies or cancers, organ transplants, underlying conditions, chronic liver, kidney, heart disease, etc., keeps them protected. That's what we call community immunity. That's the concept of herd immunity. We haven't reached herd immunity yet. Scientists are debating whether that will happen with COVID. It's because we haven't been vaccinated the way we would ideally like to be and the way we should be. We really should be vaccinated more. And that's why if you don't think or haven't thought that you not getting vaccinated doesn't affect other people, it does. Because the more of us that are vaccinated, the less likely people like Colin Powell will be to get COVID in the first place. That's why it matters. Because we want to keep all of us safe, including those that can't keep themselves safe as easily or as well as some of the rest of us. This really is about looking after one another. And Colin Powell has really, really, really touched a nerve. His death is devastating. I felt it when I woke up this morning. I called my parents immediately. I sent them the article. It literally is like a blow. It was a kick in the stomach. And I know everyone feels this way on both sides of the aisle, on different sides of the country, different sides of the world. It's devastating. And it's a shame. We've lost so many people to this dreadful disease, but we do have the power to slow it down and to work towards stopping it. It's really, I think, what we can say and what we can do. I mean, it's really sort of a plea, but Colin Powell and everyone else we've lost, and everyone else who's got long COVID symptoms, the patients I saw in the last week with long COVID symptoms, those that are still trying to recover, all of these reasons are reasons why we should all do our part, because it does matter. And I know that some people are uncomfortable with the vaccine and you have questions. And I hope you ask your questions. Ask us doctors, ask doctors. I was going to say ask your family and friends, but I don't mean that. Ask trusted medical professionals, please. That's what we're here for. But one of the best ways we can help other people is by getting the vaccine. And even if you don't think you need it, I can pretty much guarantee you that there's someone at your workplace, in your neighborhood, on your block, in your vicinity that really could use you getting vaccinated to try to help them stay healthier and reduce the risk of them getting sick. So, Colin Powell, may you rest in peace and rest in power. You've done a lot for a lot of people, and this has been devastating. This virus is the worst thing that's happened to us in a very long time, y'all. So we can't get tired. We can't get fatigued. We have to keep going. So for everyone out there who has gotten the vaccine, I thank you. My favorite part right now is asking you guys, how many of you have gotten the vaccine? Put it in the comments if you have. I love to see it. Put your favorite emoji in the comments if you've gotten the vaccine. Let me know which vaccine you've gotten. Let me know if you got your booster. And you know why I ask? I ask because I want to know, and I think it's a wonderful show of pride, and it's a way of solidarity, of showing solidarity and saying, hey, look, I'm going to do my best to try to help out me and everyone else I know. We're going to stay hopeful, though. We're going to stay hopeful. Despite all the death and despair, literally, and the badness and the bad stuff that's happening, we're going to stay hopeful. You put your favorite emoji in the comments. You spread your joy about getting the vaccine. And many of you I know have gotten the vaccine and you were worried about it. You were concerned about it. You had questions about it, but you did it anyway. And I think that's pretty freaking awesome. If that was you, put that in the comments. You know why? Because there's probably someone else who's watching this video that may feel the same way. I want to get the vaccine, but I'm not sure, but. And you know what? Maybe just reading your comment about how you felt that way, but you still did it, or how you did, might help. You guys know I have my group called I Got the COVID Vaccine. That's on Facebook. And for those of you who are on YouTube, the link will be in the description of this video. Come join the group. Ask your questions about the COVID vaccine. Ask what other people are doing, what's happened. I'll approve you right away. And join the group and ask away. You can get high five when you post pictures of your vaccination photos and things like that. Tell us what your concerns are and things like that. But the goal is we're trying to keep people from dying. We don't need to lose another soul from this dreadful disease. We don't need another soul affected by this disease. We don't need another COVID long hauler. We don't need any more hardship to our economy. We don't need any more fear instilled in our teachers' minds and those who work in education, those who are frontline workers. We don't need any more stress from our frontline workers. And that's not just healthcare workers, but those are people who work in corrections and who work in grocery stores and who work in public transportation. One of the ways that we help everyone out, we help each other out, is by we get vaccinated. It lightens the load for all of us. It kind of helps relieve the burden, and it lowers the risk that any and all of us can get the vaccine, get the virus. That will help. So just know there's a lot of stuff we can do. For those of you who've gotten the vaccine, I salute you. For those of you who want the vaccine and you haven't gotten up the nerve to get it, or you have some concerns, I hear you and I understand, and that's okay. Just ask your questions from somebody who's trusted. Talk to your doctor. Like, literally, ask us. We'll help you. Make sure we're reading, evidence-based information. There's a lot of gobbledygook out there, guys. There's a lot of rumors and a lot of fake and false stuff out there that will scare the pants off of you. So be careful what you read, and don't believe everything that you read or everything that you hear. And just know that by getting the vaccine, you're doing a lot. in the name of Colin Powell and everyone else that we've lost or who has been hurt by this disease, let's do our best to stop it in its tracks, right? Let's do our best to help each other out. So there's a lot we can do. Keep posting if you got the vaccine. I love seeing the comments come through. I love it. For those of you who send stars, I so appreciate you on Facebook. I'm going to respond to each of you personally at the end of this live. For those of you on YouTube who send super chats or super stickers, thank you guys so much. Also on Facebook, I have my subscription group called I Got the COVID. No, Dr. Jen Superstars. I do private lives and there's exclusive content for the subscribers called Dr. Jen Superstars. There's a pinned comment right underneath this video so you can join. Would love to see you there. Just know that I love you guys and I want us all to be safe and healthy and to get through this together. And to Colin Powell and his family, Colin Powell, may you rest in peace and rest in power. And may God be with your family and to everyone who knew and loved you. For everyone out there who's lost someone or has someone that's been affected by COVID, or if it's yourself, we're sending our prayers with you too. We're with you as well. So guys, I love you. Dr. Jen, it's good to see you. And I'll see you soon. Bye, YouTube.